Welcome to 4th grade lesson 6-2, solving area problems with unknown side lengths. We're on page 193. Before I begin, it's going to be important, I just want to let you guys know, it's going to be important to make sure that you understood at least the basics of what was going on in lesson 6-1, because we're building off of what we learned in 6-1. So I'd say the basics would be basically, we know 24 divided by 8 was 3, but we also need to know that we have a 0 here. 240 divided by 8 would be that 3 with the 0 at the end. We're going to use that today. So let's flip back to 6-2, and we're going to solve a couple of area problems, but there's going to be a twist here. They only give us either the length or the width. And in this case, for number 1, you can see that we know that one side is 9 feet, but over here we have an unknown. The good news is this: they give us the total area, so we know what our target number is going to be. Here's the other bit of good news. We know that area, and hopefully you can say this with me in your head, area, A, equals, what's that? Oh yeah, yep, you got it. Length, use a cursive L, times width. So area equals length times width, and you'll see here that we have the width. So we need 9 times something is going to equal our area. Okay, so there's 2 ways we can tackle this. First, let's start with the multiplication way. We're going to go over to our equation with the unknown. 9 times, remember this little dot can be times. If you want to use the x, that's fine. If you want to use an asterisk, that's fine. But 9 times, looks like they gave us the unknown as the letter D, times D equals 720 feet squared. Remember, with area, we're squared. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can tackle this. You can ask yourself, what can I multiply by 9 to equal 72? Okay, so that's one way you can approach it. There's another way too. I'm going to add that to the end here. If you're not great with those hypothetical what times 9 equals, we can also do this. We can take our total area, divide it by the width, which was 9, and that will also give us our unknown. Will give us our length. Now, in this case, you might recognize, if this works for you, cool, but you might recognize this from 6-1. Remember when I said it's going to be important that we understand what we're doing for lesson 6-1? Because now we get to use it here to find a missing side length. So just like lesson 1, we can look at the basic fact here. And the basic fact is going to be 72 divided by 9. And again, you're going to see how division and multiplication tie into each other, because you either are going to know this automatically if you know your division facts, or you're going to have to ask yourself, what times 9 equals 72? And I know that 9 times 8 equals 72, so that means how many 9s can I fit in here? I could do 9 8 times. 9 times 8 equals 72. Now, you might be saying, do we find our answer? Is it 8? No, because that's just the basic fact here. We need to do the actual number, 720 divided by 9. But look what we did. We already have the 8. And what do we have left to do? We have 1 0, and we talked about what do we do with that 0? We're going to bring him into the end. And you're going to get an answer of 80. And just like we talked, you can check your work. This is how you can tell if you did it correctly. Take your answer, 80. Multiply it by this guy, by 9. And what do you get? 9 times 8 is 72. And we know the trick. Add the 0. Do we get our first number? 720? Yes, we did. That means this is our guy. So what is our unknown side here? The answer for D, it's going to be 80 feet. Okay, so I believe the rest of page 193 is going to have you tinkering with more solving area problems with unknown sides, and again, building off of lesson 6.1. So if you need to, you can go back and review my video for 6.1 to square that away. Also, at the end of the last video, I mentioned a whole situation about canceling out zeros. I think the only time you're really going to see that come into play here is going to be with the try this. And I think you can do this, to be honest. I know sometimes I say, hey, no worries, you don't have to do the try this, but I say you've got the time today, give it a shot, and really you're just going to challenge you. Can you, my guess is, can you cancel out some zeros here? So otherwise, go ahead and give 193 at least 1 through 4 a go, and if you have any questions, as always, let me know, and I'll try to do what I can to help you guys from here. All right, so long.